Okay, now we have, is Terry here?
Yes.
Oh, there she is. Okay, good. Let's move on to item number 3. This is our annual report. As you know, we get a report every year from all of our 501c3s and all of our committees, and in this case, it's time for the Finance Committee. And as I mentioned earlier, the Finance Committee has a very full agenda and a lot of interesting things they're doing. So the chair this year is Terry Gastineau, and welcome, Terry. Good evening.
Great, thanks. It's a pleasure to be here. And one of the things the Finance Committee is looking for is input from the City Council on what you all would like us to be thinking about and evaluating for you. So what I'm going to do here is tell you a little bit about what we've been doing for the past, basically since September of 2009. And I'm going to briefly talk about 2 of our efforts and then go a little bit further in depth into the 3rd, which you all already heard about in January. But the Finance Committee has a little bit of response to some of the opposition that's come up to the TOT on short-term rentals. And so we thought we would review for you some of the points from our research that we did originally that respond to some of the opposition that's come up. So that said, here are the 3 areas we've been focusing on. One is the City Hall redevelopment. It used to be called the City Hall RFA, and we decided to generalize the name of our effort. We voted on that and accepted the change of name in our last meeting. But the basic idea here is to address aging buildings, increase parking in general, diversify the site usage, and we have an eye on the fact that the City Hall site will potentially be a south side of the city pedestrian anchor. It should have attractive architecture, and the specifics of this are on hold until the form-based code vote happens. That's not for a while. But in the meantime, we see our role as evaluating the financials of different strategies for this site. So we feel that as the Finance Committee, we can go forward and think about, for you all, what the different alternatives are and how different uses of the site play out and different development strategies. So comments you might have on that, I'll ask for at the end of this. On the sheriff's contract, this came up through an appeal from the private citizens to ask us to take a look at this. And we started to look, and we now have a subcommittee. And our goal here is to identify long-term costs of the Del Mar Sheriff's contract and take a look at whether there are hidden pension obligations there. We've put in Freedom of Information Act requests to obtain documents on contracts and financial data from the County of San Diego about our contract. And we're waiting on that information right now. And our goal is to compare what our costs are with our neighboring cities and look for possibilities of cost savings if they're there. So that's underway, and that's early. And then the last one we consider complete, but since the vote is coming up by the citizens of Del Mar in a few weeks, it's worth going into a little bit of extra detail. So short-term vacation rental and lease TOT. You'll